Got a 1965 Thunder Chicken. I was rotating my tires and I felt some grease on the back of the tire. I'll show you that in a minute. You can see back here where oil was being thrown. So I took off the brakes and you can see there's oil inside of the drum. And first thing I thought was a wheel cylinder, but it's not a wheel cylinder. These are just a couple of years old. I put these on. No leaks in the back. So the only other thing is it's got to be a seal, an axle seal here. So that's what happened. The axle seal's bad in the back. So we're going to attempt to switch out that axle seal. And I saw guys on YouTube trying to take this axle out, and they're using a claw hammer trying to get this out of here. So I came up with a way we could probably just jut it out with just a few things you might find laying around your garage or at your local hardware store. Because getting a puller for this, you know, you probably use it once and never use it again. So anyway, these oil soaked shoes, they're no good anymore. So I've got some shoes on the way. I'm going to do both sides, because once they become oil soaked, they are no longer any good. So I'm going to drop all these off of here and replace those also. But first we're going to get this axle out of here and replace that bearing. Get this backing plate all cleaned up. And you can see out here in the light, the sunlight, on the back of the tire, you can see where it's oil soaked. And of course inside of the drum. And the drum is in really good shape. Lots of meat on the drum. Lots of meat there. And it's in really good shape. It's not scraped or anything. It's just oil soaked. So we're going to give those a good clean up. And rinse this off with some water. I want to say again, I saw some guy or a couple guys on YouTube trying to get this axle out of here, and once they got the bolts out, there's 4 bolts behind here, and they're going like this trying to get this out, which is a no-no. You could snap that mounting boss right there, the spring boss. You could bust that off and you'd really be in deep trouble, or ruin your wheel cylinder, a lot of other things. If you don't have a brake tool, you can kind of struggle and get these springs off. This makes it easier, a lot easier. So if you have a brake spring kit or tool, you can pop these right off. So, and for your hold down springs, if you don't have one of those little adapter gigs, a pair of pliers will work just fine. Got to hold the pin and just twist it, and it'll come right out. These guys on each side. There's 2 hold downs here. Let's give it a turn. It'll come right off. And all the hardware here is new. Like I said, I replaced these brakes a couple years ago, and the wheel cylinder and everything. And you can see that these brake pads, a lot of miles left on them, but once they're oil soaked, they're done. So keep that in mind. If they're oil soaked, you can't use them anymore. They're just too dangerous to use. Take the e-brake off of there and just fold these guys back. Let them lay right there for now. So you can see that they're that oil is soaked and penetrated all through that pad, and they are zero good. It's an emergency brake with the spring, your holder. So I'm going to pop these 4 bolts out of here, out of the back. I got to jack up the other side to do it, or put it in neutral, one of the two, and then spin this so I can get these out. Okay, I got a heavy duty ratchet here. For your information, it's a 3/4 inch socket for these inside, for these 4 inside bolts here. And they're pretty easy to get out, looks like. Of course, it happens. I don't have any deep wells, otherwise I would use a deep well on this. So I'm going to pop these out right quick and we'll go from there. Okay, I got the 4 nuts off from back here. They came off very easy, so that wasn't an issue at all. Now, get some brake cleaner. I'm going to clean all of this up first because when I pull this out, I don't want any dirt going in. So, I laid down a piece of rag here so I don't get everything all oily. My brand new carpeting all oiled, so spray it up. Some brake clean. If you have a brush handy, get a brush. Helps out a lot. Getting all the garbage out. Really helps. After I'm done. It's really important that you have these clean. Really important that you have these clean, because that's what your brakes ride on the sides. And again, I got some grease I'm going to touch on there. So now, my invention is, instead of going out and buying a puller to pull this off, I devised something here, and I'll show you. Okay, here's my idea. You get a block, pretty heavy block, 4x4, and this is real hardwood. This is a heavy redwood or some kind of real heavy redwood, but it's very dense, and you can feel it's got a lot of weight. Drilled a hole right in the middle there. I got some cable. I did a loop on this side with these clamps. I tighten that really good. So what I'm going to do, and this costs just a couple bucks for the cable and these clamps, and I had the wood laying around. So versus buying a puller, which are not cheap, like this spring compressor here. I bought this to do the valves on my car here, and you can see it's still brand new, and you know what? I'll never use it again. This was like 70 bucks. Right now, I've had this for like 2 years now. These are probably close to 100 bucks right now. But, you know, there's no way around that. I had to have this, you know, to get the springs out of the 390 engine in here. And it'll work great. But now I'll have this forever. I'll probably never use it again. So, I'm going to use this. What I did was I put the access hole right smack at noon. Now this is the first time I'm doing this. So I'm going to run this around here. And I'm going to put this... I'm going to put this on here. And loop it around. Okay, and I'm going to tighten it real good so it doesn't slip off. Tighten it up real good, and we'll see how it works. Again, it's just an idea. It's better than getting a claw hammer like I saw that guy. I couldn't believe I saw that. That was funny. And this might be funny too. I shouldn't talk about anybody else. This might not work. So anyway, this is my idea. These axles haven't been out since 1965. And they might come out easily, they might not. But we'll see. And the basic thing is all you have to do is nudge it. I'm going to put it at noon first. Give it a slam. It's the same basic principle here. And I'm going to give it a slam. And guess what? It popped it right out. Look at that. Look at that. Is that amazing or what? This cable and these two were probably like $5 at the hardware store. And what I had laying around. So, there you have it. Look at that. Much safer, much easier. And guess what? It works. So all I gotta do is just take this off. Take this off of here. And I swear to God, this is the first time I took this off. I swear to a stack of Bibles. Tall as me. So, this I can keep laying around forever, and I don't care. This didn't cost me that much. And now the axle will come out. Right at noon. Right smack at noon. So I know how to put it back in, too. Right at the exact spline that it came out. So, there we have it. There we have the axle. My God. And you know what? My uncle had this car. And I don't think the rear end fluid was ever changed. But I changed it twice. When I drained the old oil out, it was like just evil molasses, black. And it was so thick. I still have it, by the way. Pretty toxic stuff. And you can see how it's coated up on here. But I put the new oil in, and that's when it developed the leak. So maybe it broke something apart in here. And let's see. Bearing seems to be spinning just fine. Anyway, I'm going to pull this out, and we're going to get that old seal out of there. Okay, I'm back to the seal, and it's a WS5 1098, and I ordered these from Bird's Nest out in Oregon, and I've been ordering parts from them, and they're really good. They've always sent me quality parts and the right ones, and I've never had an issue with those guys. I'm gonna clean out some of this ick. You can see why that was leaking, because it's just old and crusty in there. Yeah, there's tons of goop in there. So I'm gonna clean this up too. So I'm gonna scrape this out a little bit. I won't bore you. I'll scrape it out a little bit, and then we'll get a seal puller and yank it. Okay, I noticed that there was a very, very thin gasket that went here, and it just flaked apart. It was super thin, and the paper just waddled away somewhere in the dirt, in the dust, over the years. So I think I have something to put on here when I get it. It's a bearing, or a bearing seal puller. So this guy, I had to get one of these because I always use them. They're always used. So find the lip for it. Just kind of go around a little bit. It's going to be fun. This might be a fun one. The fun part is getting this old seal out of here. And I'll tell you, with this tool, I had to do a lot of prying Spray some liquid wrench in there, that helped a lot. And it finally popped. It finally popped, but look at that, it is number one, new good. And it was all dry rotted. You can see why it was leaking, it's just dry rotted out. So that's the old one. A little bit of trouble getting it out of there. But if you have a puller, you just got to be patient and spray around. Spray around. That helped a lot. And finally, well, I chewed it up pretty good. But that's the only way it would have came out. So there you have it. So far. Now I'm looking down in there, and I can see a bunch of buildup. It's a thick buildup of oil, of rear end oil. Now the car had 74,000 miles on it when I got it from my uncle. 74,000 original, and this was never changed. So I didn't change it until recently, because I thought he would have done that. You know, he didn't. So this is the result. I have chunks, and it's not metal. It's just old oil chunks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a rag on a stick and gently wipe and pull a lot of that stuff out. So I got a stick, and I put a buffing wheel on there. I drilled a hole, super glued it in there, make sure it would not come out. It's in there real nice and sturdy, and I can put it in there up on the top, stay to the top, and I can go in and I can drag a lot of that crap out. There's a lot of chunks in there, it looks like, and this wire wheel will scrape the bottom of it and get a lot of that stuff out of there. It looks like real lumpy. Watch this. Real lumpy. Real lumpy. It's terrible. This will scrape the bottom. All that old, from the car sitting so long, all that old oil, oh boy, got an issue. And I can feel it stuck to the sides in there. Chunks. Lots of chunks, man. Go all the way, almost all the way back in there. I can feel the bottom. Scrape it. Basically cleaning the whole axle out, axle housing, because it's definitely got some crud and lumps in there. All it's going to do is mix with the, look at that, chunks. It's terrible. Now, I cleaned it all off in there. The brush is clean. I got a rag. And I'm going to soak this with some brake cleaner. And I'm going to run it in there. Soak it real good, because it will evaporate off. And I'm gonna scrub it. And scrub it. Scrub it dub, man. Get some turns. Get up on the top, all the way around. I just can't believe all those chunks in there. But 60 years, that stuff sitting in there, it's just gonna sit there and chunk up. They have chunks, tons of chunks. Oh yeah, oh yeah. One more rag. Cleaning torch number 2. I keep these hand cloths around. They're cheap, old. I just keep them around because I'll tell you what, they really come in handy. Now I'm going to soak this up real good. Great clean. Put it in there and give it a good clean. Wow, it's smooth now. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. It's probably glowing in there now. But after all those years, that oil is just terrible. Okay, I think that's good enough. I think that's good enough. Have a gander in there. Everything's cleaned. I put some lubrication in here. Some real slick stuff. Put some lube on the outside of the seal. And I'm going to set it in there straight. Set it in there straight as I can. Set it in there straight. So it feels kind of straight all the way around, and it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap it in. I found this old coil, and it fits perfectly on there. Fits perfectly. So I'm going to try this with a rubber mallet and see if it'll slide in there. It's going in. It's definitely going in there. Yeah, it's going in. A little bit more on the side. Yeah, I gotta get it on this side some more. There it goes. It's going in. It's going in there. Just gotta get it up. I think it's in there. Get it over on this side a little bit more. Over on this left side. That sounds pretty good. You'll feel it around the edges. And when it starts hitting pretty solid, you can feel in here if it's pretty even. It feels pretty even. Out here, a little bit on the bottom here. That looks and feels pretty good. Show you the camera off. And we can look inside there maybe. Maybe I can shine some light in there, we can see. It doesn't flicker more. Oops. You can see how clean it is in there. Super clean. Okay, the bearing looks nice and seated. Or the bearing seal, I'm sorry. Get the bearing in there next. So there we have it. So far, so good. Okay, I'm doing this outside because this is pretty nasty. I want to see how much crud is on here. Oh my God. Look at the crud that's on this axle. Amazing. It's amazing. Just got a little cutaway knife, curved knife. Look at the crud coming off of there. It's crazy. I'm going to scrape all this stuff off of here because that'll just mix with the new fluid. I'm going to change the rear end fluid again. Look at that. That is off the hook. Off the hook. Off the hook. Once I get this scraped off, I'll spray it down with some stuff and get it cleaned up really nice. But that's pretty cruddy, man. Crud City. So go a long way to keeping the new rear end fluid cleaner. I'm gonna have to change it a few times, I think, to hopefully get it back to real functionality, because this is really bad. Okay, I have it all cleaned up. There's a little line there, but if it doesn't catch your fingernail, you're good. So I took some emery cloth and went around here and cleaned up the bearing a little bit. The bearing has just a little bit of play in it, so it's good. The bearing is still good, not making any noise. There's no up and down play in it, none. It's just a little bit of side to side, that's it. And it's supposed to have a little bit of play for cornering. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this magic lube on the spline. It's ultra slick stuff. Put some of that on the spline so I can just slide this back in. Slide it back in real nice and easy. Slide it in, slide it in. Okay. A little bit there. A little bit there. Hand off. And I cleaned up the shaft really good, because when you put the shaft in, it's up against that seal, so it's got to be really nice and clean. So I cleaned it up really nice, and it has no bumps or bruises in it. So once I put it in there, I feel a little stiff, and I want to go at noon again, where I was, and put it up in there. It's got to go up in there, like right in the middle. You got to find it. There it is. Slid right in. Pretty much, I think. Yep. It's catching on something there. It slipped down. Find my way in there. There it is. There it goes. Slid right in. Real nice. So, now, and I noticed there was a little paper gasket back here, and it just flaked away. It was very, very thin. So I'm going to put some copper sealant there. A little bit of copper sealant there for the housing. And when I get the shoes tomorrow, I'm going to put this back in there and grease up these a little bit. And I'm going to put the new shoes on. And take a few minutes and do that too for you. Snap it together. Again, my wheel cylinders are just a couple years old, and they're all good. All functioning really nice. Back plate is nice and solid. Got everything cleaned up. The bearing's good for another $50,000 for sure. No doubt, so why replace it? They had a couple on Craigslist. These bearings are like 65 bucks a piece for Timkins. I wouldn't put Chinese bearings in this car. No way. So there's a couple of them still around. But I can't find the collars for them, so I'm going to let this go for now. Otherwise, I would just put new bearings and just forget about it. But right now, the bearing's good. I'm just going to enjoy the car, put it together, and break time.